The bulletin board stood outside the mess hall at Camp Pendleton. January the 15th, 1944, California's sun turning everything white, 75,000 acres of coastal hills and scrub brush, 50,000 Marines training, preparing, waiting for orders to ship out. Private Thaddeus Mercer stopped in front of the board. He was 20 years old, farm boy from Iowa. 3 months into his service, good rifleman, not exceptional, just good enough. The notice was new, freshly posted. Crisp white paper against the weathered cork. Volunteers needed experimental sniper training program. British exchange officer seeking qualified marksman. Selection January the 15th, 1944. Apply Sergeant Major's office. Thad read it 3 times. Around him, Marines flowed past. Most didn't even look. Those who did shook their heads and kept walking. Sniper training, specialty work, dangerous. Why volunteer for something that put a target on your back? But Thad remembered his father, remembered Iowa, the farm, deer hunting every November, his father teaching him patience, how to read wind, how to wait for the perfect shot. "You don't waste ammunition," his father had said. "Every bullet costs money we don't have. Make every shot count." Every shot count. Thad tore the notice from the board. 847 Marines showed up for selection. They stood in formation on the rifle range at 0600 hours, cold enough to see breath. Every man had qualified expert rifleman. Every man believed he could shoot. Thad stood in the 3rd rank, trying not to shiver. A man walked out to face them, not a Marine. British Army insignia, major's rank, late 40s, silver threading through dark hair. He carried himself like a man who had seen things, done things, survived things that left marks you couldn't see. "My name is Major Alistair Blackwood," he said, his voice carried without shouting, clipped, precise, iron underneath. "I am here because the United States Marine Corps has asked the British Army to share certain expertise. The training of scout snipers, not marksmen, not designated shooters, snipers." He paused. "There is a difference." Blackwood began to walk along the front rank, slowly, studying faces. A marksman fires at targets. A sniper hunts men. A marksman works in groups. A sniper works alone or with one partner. A marksman fires many shots. A sniper fires one. He stopped. "The British Army has trained snipers since 1916. We learned in the trenches, learned from a man named Hesketh Vernon Hesketh Pritchard. He understood that one man, properly trained, properly equipped, properly positioned, can achieve what an entire company cannot." Blackwood's eyes swept the formation. "I learned from men who learned from Hesketh Pritchard. I served in the Great War. I killed my first German sniper in 1917. I killed my last in 1918, 3 days before the armistice." The formation was silent. "Between those dates, I killed 41 more. Someone coughed. Blackwood smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Today, you volunteered, 847 of you. I will select 12. This is not an insult to your skills. This is mathematics. Sniping requires patience that borders on obsession, the ability to remain motionless for hours, the willingness to kill a man whose face you have watched for days." He clasped his hands behind his back. "Most importantly, it requires accepting that you will be hunted. When they catch you, they will not take you prisoner. Snipers are not afforded the courtesies of regular warfare." He let that sink in. "If this frightens you, leave now. No shame. Walk away." Nobody moved. Blackwood nodded slowly. "Very well, selection begins now. Form 8 lines." The first test was marksmanship. 7 shots at 200 yards, iron sights, man-sized silhouette. Requirement: all 7 within a 5-inch circle. Thad watched men shoot. Expert marksmen, Men with scores in the high 90s. They failed. 4 in the circle, 5, 6, but never 7. Pressure changed everything. The rifles cracked. Men cursed. Targets were marked. Out of 847, 312 passed. Thad passed. All 7 rounds clustered center mass. Not perfect, but good, consistent. Blackwood walked behind each shooter, silent, observing, writing notes in a small leather journal. When he reached Thad, he paused. "Where did you learn to shoot, Private?" "Iowa, sir, deer hunting with my father." "Your father taught you well." "He taught me patience, sir." Blackwood wrote something, moved on. The second test was observation. They were marched to a hillside overlooking a valley, given binoculars, 1 hour. "Somewhere in that valley," Blackwood said, there are 10 men, concealed, not moving. Find them, write down their locations, be specific." Thad pressed binoculars to his eyes. The valley was 800 yards across. Scrub brush, scattered rocks, dry creek bed. He scanned slowly, looking for shapes that didn't fit, colors that were wrong. His father's voice. "Don't look for the whole deer, look for the flick of an ear, the shine of an eye." 15 minutes. There, a shape behind a rock. Not quite the right color, too uniform. Thad marked it, kept searching. 20 minutes, 30. His eyes burned. He found 7. At 1 hour, Blackwood called time. Men reported numbers. 3, sir. 5, sir. 9, sir. When Thad said 7, Blackwood nodded. Better than most. Later, Thad learned there had been only 8 men in the valley. Those who claimed 9 or 10 had lied. They were eliminated immediately. Blackwood valued honesty over pride. By the end of the 3rd day, 312 had become 47. By the end of the 1st week, 47 became 18. By the end of the 2nd week, 18 became 12. Thad was number 11. The real training began every morning, 500 hours. Physical conditioning, running hills, crawling through obstacle courses, swimming in full gear. "A sniper must be fit," Blackwood said. "You will crawl for miles, lie motionless for hours in heat or cold, extract under fire when compromised. Weakness is death." After conditioning came marksmanship. They fired thousands of rounds. Springfield M19, 03, A4 rifles, modified for sniper use, Weaver 330C scopes mounted, 2.5 times magnification. Blackwood taught them to zero rifles to their individual eye and shooting style, taught them to group shots, 7 rounds, 5-inch circle, 200 yards, then 300, then 400. "Consistency matters more than exceptional single shots," Blackwood said. "Anyone can fire one lucky round. A sniper fires the same shot again and again, regardless of conditions." Thad learned to calculate wind drift, temperature effects, atmospheric pressure, how humidity changed trajectory. His father had taught him to hunt. Blackwood taught him to kill. Week 3 brought fieldcraft. "Marksmanship is useless if you cannot reach the position," Blackwood said. They learned to construct ghillie suits, burlap and canvas covered with torn cloth and native vegetation. The suits broke up the human outline. They learned to select firing positions, how to use natural concealment, how to prepare multiple shots before extraction. They learned camouflage face paint, green and brown patterns that eliminated skin shine, and they learned stalking. This was where most failed. The exercise was simple. An instructor positioned himself with binoculars 600 yards away. The student had to crawl across open ground, get within 200 yards and fire a blank without being spotted. If the instructor saw any movement, the student failed. Thad failed. He failed 7 times. First attempt, he moved too quickly, spotted at 400 yards. Second attempt, bad terrain. No concealment, spotted at 500 yards. Third attempt, he made noise, kicked a rock. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Each time, Blackwood said nothing, just wrote in his journal, marked the failure. On the 8th day, after Thad's 7th failure, Blackwood called him aside. They walked to the edge of the training area. "You shoot like an American cowboy," Blackwood said quietly. "Fast, aggressive. You want to charge forward and solve the problem with speed and force." Thad said nothing. "But sniping is not American, it is British. It is patience, thinking like a gamekeeper, not a gunfighter. Do you understand the difference?" "No, sir." Blackwood was quiet. "Your father taught you to hunt deer. How long would you watch before taking the shot?" Thad thought. "Hours sometimes, waiting for it to step into the open. And if it never stepped into the open, I'd wait until the next day." "Exactly." Blackwood nodded. "That is the mindset. You are not attacking, you are waiting. Waiting for the enemy to make the mistake, to expose himself. And if he never gives you the shot, you wait until tomorrow." He paused. "One perfect shot beats 100 rushed shots. Remember that." The 8th attempt. Thad lay at the start line, 600 yards of open ground ahead. He didn't move for 10 minutes, just breathed, watched, studied terrain. There was a shallow depression, barely noticeable, running diagonal toward the instructor's position. He waited. 20 minutes, 30, 40. A cloud passed over the sun. Shadows shifted. Thad moved. One arm forward, 6 inches. Stop. 5 minutes of stillness. Other arm forward, 6 inches. Stop. It took him an hour to cross 30 yards, but he made it to the depression. From there he crawled, inches at a time, using every rock, every tuft of grass. His elbows bled, his knees bled, sweat soaked his uniform. Insects crawled across his face. He didn't brush them away. He was grass. He was earth. He was nothing. 3 hours after starting, he reached 200 yards. He could see the instructor clearly, see the binoculars moving. Thad waited until the binoculars pointed away, raised his rifle. 2 full minutes to bring it to his shoulder, aimed, fired the blank. The instructor jumped, spun around, scanned frantically, saw nothing. Blackwood's voice came from behind Thad. "Well done, Private Mercer." Thad turned his head. Blackwood stood 20 feet away. "How long have you been watching, sir?" "Since you entered the depression, I've been following you the entire time." "Did I do something wrong?" "No," Blackwood smiled. First genuine smile Thad had seen. "You did something right. You stopped being an American cowboy. You became a British gamekeeper." The 12 became 8. 4 men failed stalking and were returned to their units. No shame. They simply didn't have the temperament. The remaining 8 trained for 2 more months. They learned counter-sniper work, how to identify enemy positions, how to use dummy heads to draw fire, how to triangulate shots. They learned the mathematics of patience. That even if you spot the enemy first, if you miss your shot, you will probably die. They learned to work in pairs, shooter and spotter, how to call wind, how to read mirage, how to estimate range. And they learned that sniping was lonely, that you would watch men through your scope for days, learn their habits, see them laugh with friends, see them smoke cigarettes, see them read letters from home, and then you would kill them. Blackwood never softened this. "You will take life from distance," he said during their final week. "You will make a conscious, calculated decision to end another human being's existence, and you will do this again and again." He looked at each of them. "This is why we select so carefully. This is why 95% fail, not because they cannot shoot, but because they cannot carry this burden." Graduation came in May. 8 men stood in formation, 8 out of 847. Major Blackwood presented each man with a certificate, a patch, a Springfield M1903, A.4 rifle with their name engraved on the stock. When he reached Thad, he paused. "Private Mercer, you failed stalking 7 times, more than any other student." Thad kept his eyes forward. "Yes, sir. But you didn't quit. You learned. By the end, you were the best stalker in the class." He handed Thad the rifle. "Sniping is not about natural talent. It's about refusing to accept failure. Remember that when you reach France." "Yes, sir." Blackwood gave each graduate one more item, a small leather journal, blank pages, high-quality binding. "Record your lessons," Blackwood said. "One day you will teach others. When that day comes, you will need these records." He opened Thad's journal to the inside cover, had written in that precise, mechanical handwriting, quality over quantity. 1 hunter defeats 100 marksmen. Make every shot count. Major A. Blackwood, May 1944. Thad closed the journal carefully, placed it in his breast pocket. Blackwood stepped back, addressed all 8. "You are now scout snipers, the first American snipers trained in British methods since the Great War. You carry a legacy. Hesketh Pritchard, every British sniper who came before." His voice hardened. "You will face German snipers. They have trained since 1941. They have experience. They have superior optics. They have killed hundreds of Allied soldiers." He paused. "But they have never faced British-trained snipers. They have never faced men who understand that quality defeats quantity. That one perfect shot is worth more than 1,000 hasty bullets." Blackwood's eyes swept across them one last time. "Show them what you've learned. Bring our boys home. And for God's sake, don't waste ammunition." Thad smiled at that. His father would have approved. 3 weeks later, Thad boarded a transport ship in San Diego, destination England, final destination France. He carried his Springfield, his scope, 200 rounds of match-grade ammunition, a ghillie suit rolled tight in his pack, and in his breast pocket, Blackwood's journal. He read those words every night during the crossing. Quality over quantity. 1 hunter defeats 100 marksmen. Make every shot count. By the time he reached England, he had memorized them. By the time he landed in France, he understood them. June 7, 1944. D-Day. +1. The sand was red. Not the natural tan of Normandy beach, red, soaked through with blood and sea water. Private Thaddeus Mercer pressed his face against the shingle. Pebbles cut into his cheek. Around him the world screamed, artillery shrieked, machine guns hammered, men called for medics. Thad had been in France for 11 hours. He turned his head slowly. Inches away, Corporal Jimmy Flynn lay flat. Springfield rifle cradled. Flynn's lips moved in silent prayer. Flynn was Thad's friend, had been since basic training, farm boy like Thad. Kentucky, not Iowa, but the same values, hard work, honest, loyal. "We're pinned," Flynn whispered. Thad didn't answer. The answer was obvious. They had come ashore at 0730 hours on Gold Beach. The landing craft ramp had dropped. Men had poured forward. MG-42 machine guns had opened fire. Thad made it 30 yards before diving for cover. That was 11 hours ago. Now it was 1830 hours. The sun hung low over the English Channel. Beautiful, if you ignored the bodies. "Movement," Flynn hissed. 50 yards to their left, a soldier broke from cover, running hard toward the seawall, legs pumping. The crack came before the echo, sharp, singular, not the rattle of a machine gun. One shot. The running soldier stopped. His helmet flew backward. His body crumpled. Silence. "Sniper," someone whispered. The word passed like disease. "Sniper, sniper, sniper." Thad pressed lower. His heart hammered. He had trained for this. But training didn't prepare you for the waiting. The knowledge that somewhere ahead, a man with a rifle watched through magnified glass. Hunting. "I'm going to make a run for it," Flynn said. "Don't. We can't stay here. When it's dark, the Germans will counterattack. Then we wait for dark." "Thad, we wait." Flynn was silent. Then he shifted, readjusting his grip. "You remember that sniper course? You should have taught us something useful." "I tried," Flynn grinned. Even here, even now, Jimmy Flynn could grin. "Should have tried harder." "Cover me," Flynn said. "Jimmy, don't—" But Flynn was already moving. He rose to a crouch, gathered his legs, drew a breath, and ran. 3 steps, 4, 5. The crack was louder this time. Thad saw the muzzle flash. Second-story window, 600 yards up the slope. Norman's stone house with half its roof missing. Flynn's head snapped sideways. He didn't cry out, didn't stumble. One moment running, the next moment falling. Thad screamed his name. No answer. Flynn lay 15 yards away, on his back, arms spread. The right side of his skull was gone. Through the scope, Thad thought. The sniper saw Flynn's face through the scope, calculated wind and elevation, squeezed the trigger with calm precision. 1 shot, 1 kill, professional. "Stay down!" someone shouted, but Thad was already crawling, elbows and knees moving toward Flynn's body. He didn't think. Thinking would stop him. He reached the body, grabbed Flynn's webbing, started dragging. The second shot kicked up sand 3 inches from Thad's hand. He froze. The sniper had fired and missed. Impossible. German snipers didn't miss, unless the miss was a warning. Thad looked up toward the ruined house. He couldn't see the window clearly, but he felt eyes on him, felt crosshairs settling on his back. The sniper was giving him a chance. Take the body and go, or stay and die. Thad grabbed Flynn's webbing with both hands, pulled hard. The body moved 6 inches. 12. 18. Thad's shoulders screamed. He pulled until his vision blurred, pulled until he reached cover. He collapsed beside Flynn's corpse, pressed his forehead against splintered wood, and wept. Night fell. The snipers stopped shooting. Darkness robbed them of their advantage. The Americans pushed forward slowly, building, by 0. 200 hours they held the village. Thad found Flynn's body at dawn. Someone had closed his eyes, folded his hands. In the left hand they had placed a piece of paper. Thad unfolded it with shaking fingers. The handwriting was precise, mechanical. "Quantity cannot defeat quality. SS Oberführerkoch." Thad read it twice, 3 times. A calling card, a signature. This wasn't random violence. This was a craftsman leaving his mark, a hunter asserting dominance. "We are better than you," the note said. "We are more patient, more skilled, more deadly. We are snipers, and you are prey." Thad folded the note carefully, put it in his breast pocket next to Blackwood's journal. He stood over Flynn's body for a long time. Then he walked away. He had a promise to keep. He had training to use, and he had a German sniper to kill. The hedgerows of Normandy were ancient. Some dated back to the Romans, earthen walls thick as houses, topped with brambles and thorns that grew wild for centuries. They divided the French countryside into 1,000 small fields. The Germans called it bocage country. The Americans called it hell. Thad crouched in a ditch. July heat beat down. 3 weeks since Flynn died. 3 weeks of slow, grinding combat. Advancing yard by yard, field by field, and everywhere German snipers. They owned this terrain, fired from positions that took hours to locate. By the time you found them, they were gone. The battalion had lost 47 men to snipers. Thad had killed 3 German snipers. It wasn't enough. A runner came crawling down the ditch, young kid, maybe 18. "Private Mercer, Captain wants you at the command post, now." The command post was a ruined farmhouse. Maps covered a damaged table. Officers stood around it. Captain Morrison looked up. "Mercer, we have a situation. 3rd platoon is pinned. German sniper team, 2 days. Every time we advance, they pick off our men. We've lost 9. Location," Morrison pointed to the map. "Stone Barn, 600 yards southeast. We've tried artillery. They move before the shells land. We've tried flanking. They see us coming." Thad studied the map. The barn sat on a low rise. Perfect position. "They're good," Morrison said quietly. "Better than what we've faced. Intelligence thinks they're SS, specially trained." "How many?" "Unknown, at least 2, probably more." Morrison looked at Thad. "I need you to take them out." Thad nodded. "I'll need support. Another shooter. Time to scout." "You'll have it." Morrison turned to an aide. "Get Major Blackwood." Blackwood arrived 10 minutes later. He looked older, thinner. 3 months of combat had worn him. "Thaddeus," Blackwood said. No rank, just the name. "Sir?" They studied the map together. "SS," Blackwood said. "That makes sense. Wehrmacht trains decent snipers, but SS trains hunters. Can we beat them?" Blackwood smiled. "Can we? Yes. Will we? That depends on you." Morrison cleared his throat. "Major, we also have a visitor. Arrived this morning. Soviet liaison officer. Wants to observe our sniper operations." "A Russian?" Blackwood's eyebrow raised. "Here? Why?" "Orders from above. Allies sharing intelligence." Morrison gestured to the door. A man entered. Soviet Army uniform. Captain's rank. Tall, broad-shouldered. Face carved from granite. Eyes the pale blue of winter ice. "Captain Dmitry Volkov," he said. Heavily accented English, and "I am honored to observe American and British sniper operations." Blackwood studied him. "You're a sniper yourself, Captain?" "I was before I became instructor. Trained at Podolsk Sniper School. I have killed 37 Germans." "Impressive," Volkov shrugged. "Not impressive. Necessary. We train many snipers, very many. Since 1941, Soviet Union has trained 428,335 snipers." The number hung in the air. Morrison blinked. 400,000? "Yes. We understand modern war requires numbers. We produce snipers like factory produces rifles, mass training, mass deployment. Every squad has marksman, every platoon has sniper." Blackwood's expression didn't change. Quantity over quality. "Numbers win wars," Volkov said simply. "Germans cannot kill 400,000 snipers. They try, yes, but we overwhelm them. This is how Soviet Union fights." He turned to Thad. "You Americans train how many? 2,000, 3,000? "Fewer," Blackwood said quietly. Volkov laughed. "Fewer than 2,000, and you think this is enough?" "We think," Blackwood said, "that one properly trained hunter is worth more than 100 partially trained marksmen." "Then you think wrong." The room went quiet. Morrison coughed. "Captain Volkov will observe Mercer's operation, as courtesy to our allies." Blackwood nodded slowly. "Very well, Captain Volkov, you'll see how we do things. Perhaps you'll learn something." Volkov smiled. "Perhaps you will learn from me." They moved out at dusk. Thad carried his Springfield. Blackwood carried binoculars and a spotting scope. Volkov came armed with a Soviet Mosin Nagant 4-power scope. Worn stock. They crawled through hedgerows for 2 hours. German patrols moved through darkness, voices speaking low German, boots on gravel. Thad pressed himself into earth and waited. When they reached the observation position, Blackwood set up the spotting scope. 800 yards from the barn. Too far for a shot. perfect for surveillance. "We watch," Blackwood whispered. "We learn their patterns, find their positions." They watched for 3 hours. Nothing. The barn sat silent in moonlight. Volkov shifted restlessly. "This is waste of time," he muttered. "Soviet sniper would shoot. Take chance. Maybe hit, maybe miss, but act." "And reveal his position," Blackwood said, "and die when the German team triangulates his muzzle flash. Better to die fighting than hiding." Blackwood didn't answer. They watched until dawn. As the sun rose, Thad saw it. Movement in the barn's second story, a shadow. There for half a second, then gone. "East window," Thad whispered. "Second floor." Blackwood swung the scope. "Good eye, that's their primary position." "How many?" "Unknown, but see that drainage ditch? Runs from the barn to that tree line. That's their escape route." "So we ambush the route." "No," Blackwood shook his head. "They'll have it covered. Secondary position watching it. If we show ourselves there, we die." Volkov snorted. "Too much thinking. You know where Germans are. Go kill them." "I count at least 3 positions," Blackwood said. "Primary in the barn, secondary watching escape route, tertiary somewhere we haven't spotted, probably a 4th man as runner." "So 5 men," Thad said. "At minimum, possibly 6. Volkov stared. "You are 2 snipers, they are 5. You think you can win?" Blackwood smiled. "I trained Private Mercer. Yes, we can win." "How?" "Patience. They spent 2 days watching, learning, mapping, understanding. Thad learned that Germans change positions every 6 hours, learned their patterns, learned that they had a spotter who smoked cigarettes, learned that they used a mirror to check blind spots. Professionals. On the 3rd day, Blackwood made his plan. "We need to separate them, draw them out one at a time." "How?" "Dummy heads." Old technique. Hesketh Pritchard invented it in the Great War. You constructed a fake head, made it look like a careless soldier, raised it above cover. The enemy sniper would fire. The shot would reveal his position. Thad and Blackwood spent the afternoon constructing 3 dummy heads, canvas stuffed with grass, painted to look like faces, mounted on poles. Volkov watched with barely concealed disgust. "This is children's game. Soviet sniper would never fall for this." "German snipers aren't Soviet snipers," Blackwood replied. At 1700 hours, they moved into position. Thad took the shot position, 300 yards from the barn, concealed in brambles. He could barely see through the scope, but he had a clear line to the second-floor window. Blackwood set up 50 yards left. He had the dummy heads. Volkov positioned himself 50 yards right. His choice. He wanted independent field of fire. "On my signal," Blackwood whispered over the sound-powered phone. Thad settled behind his rifle, controlled his breathing, waited. Blackwood raised the first dummy head. Slowly, making it look like a soldier peering over cover. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. 20. The crack of a rifle. The dummy head exploded. Thad saw the muzzle flash. Second-story window. East side. He aimed. The German sniper was pulling back. Thad could see his outline, dark against lighter interior. 1 shot. The Springfield kicked. Through the scope, Thad saw the German jerk backward. Fall. "Hit," Blackwood confirmed, but immediately another shot rang out. From the drainage ditch, the secondary position. The bullet kicked up dirt near Blackwood's dummy. Volkov fired. 3 shots, rapid, spray and pray. "Cease fire," Blackwood hissed. "You're giving away position." Too late. The 3rd German sniper, the one they hadn't located, fired. The bullet hit a tree trunk 2 feet from Volkov's head. Bark exploded. Volkov scrambled backward, cursing in Russian. "Hold!" Blackwood commanded. "Everyone hold!" Silence. Thad kept his scope on the barn, looking for movement. Nothing. "They're pulling back," Blackwood said, using the confusion. Thad watched the drainage ditch, saw a flicker of movement. A man, running low, heading for the tree line, 800 yards, uphill, wind from the left, target moving. Thad had trained for this, hundreds of hours, thousands of rounds, lead the target, calculate wind, smooth trigger press. He led the running figure by 3 feet. Adjusted for wind, squeezed, the Springfield spoke. The running figure stumbled, fell, didn't move. "Second hit," Blackwood said quietly, pride in his voice. Volkov crawled to Thad's position, face pale, hands shaking. "That shot," he said. 800 yards, moving target. How? "Training," Thad said simply. "Soviet snipers train. We train many, but not like this." Blackwood joined them. "How many snipers has the Soviet Union lost, Captain Volkov?" Volkov was quiet. "Many. At Stalingrad, average life expectancy for new sniper was 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yes, because we must deploy them quickly. War does not wait for perfect training." Blackwood nodded. "I understand. The Soviet Union faces existential threat. You must use every resource, train everyone, accept casualties, win through numbers." He paused. "But understand this, Private Mercer just killed 2 German snipers in 3 minutes. Those Germans had killed 9 Americans over 2 days, plus however many before that. Each of those Germans was trained for months, equipped with superior optics, positioned perfectly." "And now they're dead," Thad said. Volkov looked between them. "You are saying quality defeats quantity." "I'm saying," Blackwood replied, "that one perfectly trained hunter is worth 100 partially trained marksmen. This is not theory, this is mathematics." They held position until dark. At 2100 hours, an American patrol swept the barn. They found 1 dead German in the 2nd floor, shot through chest, Thad's kill. They found another in the drainage ditch, shot through spine, also Thad's. They found equipment, ammunition, maps, and a logbook. The patrol brought it back to the command post. Blackwood opened it carefully, flipped through pages of precise German handwriting, sketches of positions, range calculations, and a list, a long list, names, dates, locations. "It's a kill record," Blackwood said softly. He translated aloud. "SS Scharführer Heinrich Koch, qualified sniper, December 1941, Eastern Front, January 1942 to March 1944. He read down the list. 94 confirmed kills, all Soviet snipers. Volkov stepped forward. "Let me see." Blackwood handed him the book. Volkov read silently, his face darkened, jaw clenched. "I know these names," he said quietly. "Some of them. Good snipers, experienced. And this German, he killed 94 of them." "There are notes," Blackwood said. "Koch kept observations," he translated. "Soviet snipers are brave but impatient. They shoot quickly, move carelessly, bunch together for support, kill one, the others reveal themselves trying for revenge." Blackwood flipped a page. "Soviet doctrine emphasizes volume of fire. Multiple snipers saturate area, effective against infantry, but against trained counter-snipers it is suicide. They expose themselves, waste ammunition, think numbers provide safety, numbers provide targets." Volkov's hands trembled. "Is true," he said finally. "Everything he writes is true." "Your doctrine works," Blackwood said gently. "For your purposes, you killed thousands of Germans, won battles, pushed them back. But we lost 94 snipers to this one German?" "Yes." Volkov looked at Thad. "You killed him, the one who killed 94 of my countrymen." Thad nodded. "How many Germans have you killed?" "5, including the 2 today." "5," Volkov shook his head. "We train 400,000 snipers. Each kills maybe 3-4 Germans on average before they die. Your country trains fewer than 2,000, but each one kills how many?" "The average for British-trained snipers in the Great War," Blackwood said, "was 43 confirmed kills per sniper. The key is survivability. We train our snipers to stay alive, to fight for years, not weeks." "And American snipers?" "The 8 I trained are still alive, all of them. 3 months in combat, 0 casualties." Volkov sat down heavily. "I thought Soviet way was right. Train many, accept losses, replace them, continue. But now I see. We waste lives. We send brave men to die because we do not train them properly." "You don't have a choice," Thad said. "Not really. You need the numbers." "But at what cost?" No one answered. The assignment came the next morning. Captain Morrison summoned Thad. "Intelligence has identified the German sniper team leader, SS Oberfuhrer Koch, operating in this sector 3 weeks, responsible for 37 Allied casualties." 37. "Including your friend Flynn." Thad's hands clenched. Morrison continued. "Koch has a team. We think 5 men total, all Eastern Front veterans, rotating positions, moving constantly. We can't pin them down. So you want me to find them? I want you to eliminate them." Morrison spread a map. "Koch's team operates in this area, 10 square kilometers, hedgerow country. Perfect sniper terrain. They've ambushed 4 patrols, killed a company commander, wounded a battalion XO." He looked at Thad. "I'm giving you 8 days. That's how long before we advance through this sector. If Koch is still operational when we attack, we'll lose dozens." 8 days. "Major Blackwood will support you. Priority for intelligence, air reconnaissance, whatever you need." Thad studied the map. 8 days to find 5 German snipers in 10 square kilometers. 5 Germans who had killed 94 Soviet snipers, who had killed Flynn, who had killed 36 others. "I'll need to work alone," Thad said. "Mostly. Blackwood can coordinate, but in the field, I hunt alone." Morrison frowned. "Alone is dangerous." "Alone is how British gamekeepers work," Blackwood smiled. "Let him work his way, Captain. I trained him. Trust the training." Morrison nodded slowly. 8 days, Mercer, starting now. Day 1. Thad moved through hedgerows like smoke. He had stripped his gear down to essentials: rifle, ammunition, water, rations, ghillie suit. He carried Flynn's photograph in his breast pocket. Next to Blackwood's journal, the hunting ground was a maze, narrow lanes between ancient walls, small fields, orchards, stone farmhouses. Thad found a position on a low rise. Good observation. He could see 3 hedgerow intersections, 2 farmhouses, a stretch of road. He settled in, waited. Hours passed. The sun rose, heated the air, created mirage. Thad watched through his scope, scanning, searching, looking for things that didn't belong, color that was wrong, shape that was too regular. At 1400 hours, he saw it. Movement. 300 yards away, in a hedgerow. Someone digging. Preparing a position. Thad watched. Saw a figure. German uniform, Feldgrau. The man worked methodically, cutting away branches, creating a firing slit. Professional, Thad could take the shot. But he waited. Blackwood's voice. 1 sniper seen means 2 snipers present. The one you see is bait. Thad scanned around the first German, looking for the watcher. There, 50 yards left, another German, barely visible, just the outline of a helmet behind a tree. The watcher, Thad marked both positions mentally, then slowly withdrew. He circled wide, took 2 hours to move 500 yards. When he had clear shot on the watcher, he settled in, controlled his breathing, aimed. The Springfield's crack echoed. The watcher dropped. The German digging spun around. Searching. Thad was already moving, rolling right, into a ditch. The German sprayed his approximate position. Rapid fire. Panicked. Amateur mistake. Wasting ammunition. Revealing exact location. Thad circled again. Took another hour. When he had the angle, he fired. The German fell. 2 down, 3 to go, plus cock. Day 2. Thad found a German sniper's hide. Empty. Recently abandoned. Vegetation still fresh. Earth still damp. They'd been here this morning. He studied the position. Good lines of fire. Multiple escape routes. Professional construction. He found spent shell casings, Car 98K rounds, and something else, a piece of paper, tucked under a rock. Thad unfolded it carefully. Precise handwriting, German. The American is learning. He thinks like hunter now, not soldier. Good. This makes the game interesting. K. Koch. Koch knew Thad was hunting him, and he was leaving messages. This wasn't just combat. This was a duel, professional versus professional. Thad smiled grimly. If Koch wanted a duel, he'd get one. Day 3. Thad killed the third German. Patience. Observation. Waiting for the mistake. The German made it at 16:30 hours. Exposed himself for 3 seconds while moving between positions. 3 seconds was enough. One shot, 400 yards. The German went down. Thad extracted immediately. Standard procedure. Fire and move. But as he crawled away, a bullet kicked up dirt 6 inches from his head. Close. Another shot hit his pack. Thad felt the impact, rolled into a depression, pressed himself flat. Silence. Someone had spotted him. Someone good. Someone who had calculated his extraction route and pre-positioned. Koch. Had to be. Thad lay motionless for 2 hours. When the sun set, he moved. Inches at a time. 4 hours to crawl 200 yards, but he made it. In his pack, he found the bullet hole. The round had penetrated his extra rations, stopped in a can of beans. 6 inches higher, it would have been his spine. Day 4. Dawn came cold and grey. Thad shivered in his hide. His shoulder ached. His left arm was stiff. He checked carefully. A graze wound from yesterday's firefight. He hadn't felt it at the time. Now it was infected, shallow, but red, hot, swollen. He had sulfur powder, applied it, gritted teeth against pain. Blackwood's voice on the radio. Mercer, return to base, get that treated. Negative, 4 days left. You're compromised. I'm functional. Blackwood was quiet. Your call, but if you get yourself killed, I'll be very disappointed. I'll try not to, sir. Despite everything, Thad smiled. He spent the day moving slowly, reconnoitering, mapping German patrol routes, learning their patterns. By evening, he had identified 2 more likely sniper positions. He would hit them tomorrow, one at a time, patiently. Day 5. Thad found a dead German, not one of Koch's team, regular Wehrmacht, dispatch runner by his gear, shot through the head, clean kill, recent. Thad studied the body, angle of the wound, trajectory. The shot had come from the south, maybe 500 yards. He followed the line, found another German sniper position, more elaborate, dug in, reinforced with logs, empty now. But inside, Thad found something, a rifle, Car 98K sniper variant. Beautiful weapon, walnut stock, Zeiss scope, 6 power magnification. Why would a German sniper leave his rifle unless he wanted someone to find it? Thad examined the rifle carefully, checked for traps, booby traps, nothing. He picked it up, felt the weight, the balance, superior to his Springfield in every way, and then he understood. This was an invitation. Coke was giving him a weapon, making the duel fair, or testing him. Thad made a decision. He took the rifle. Day 6, Thad used the Kar-98K. Operated in German-held territory, with the German rifle dressed in a captured German smock. From a distance, he looked German. It worked. He infiltrated a German position, 600 yards behind their lines, set up in a ruined barn. Waited. At 1100 hours, a German patrol came through. 4 men, moving cautiously. They saw Thad, saw the German rifle, the smock. Relaxed. One called out in German. Thad didn't speak German. He nodded, waved. The Germans waved back, kept walking. When they were 50 yards away, Thad saw one pull out a cigarette. The movement was familiar. The way he held the pack. The spotter from Coke's team. The one who smoked. Thad aimed. The Kar-98K fired. The spotter went down. The other 3 Germans spun around. Confused. Thad fired again. Dropped a second man. The remaining 2 scattered. Thad extracted. Moving fast. The disguise was blown, but he'd killed 2 more of Coke's team. Only Coke remained. Day 7. Thad found nothing. He searched for 12 hours, checked every position, every hide, every likely spot. Coke had gone to ground. Or maybe Coke was hunting him now. The thought made Thad's skin crawl. He moved constantly, never staying in one position more than an hour. Night fell. Thad sheltered in a collapsed cellar. Stone walls, good cover. He was exhausted. His wound throbbed. He hadn't slept properly in days, but he couldn't stop. Tomorrow was day 8. Tomorrow was the deadline. Tomorrow he either found Coke or the battalion advanced and Coke would kill dozens more. Thad closed his eyes. Just for a minute, just 1 minute of rest. He woke to find a piece of paper on his chest. His heart nearly stopped. Someone had been here, while he slept, had stood over him, could have killed him, but hadn't. The paper read, "Tomorrow. The church. Dawn, you and me, hunter to hunter, no tricks, no support, just the shot. Hunter, you have earned this duel." Cock Thad's hands shook. Cock had been here, had watched him sleep, could have shot him. But that wouldn't be sporting. This was about honor, about proving who was better. The church. Thad knew the one. Norman Church. Stone. Tall steeple. 800 yards from American lines. Perfect sniper ground. Tomorrow. Dawn. Thad folded the paper carefully, put it in his pocket next to Flynn's photograph, and began to prepare, and began to... Day 8, August 3, 1944. The church sat on a low hill, grey stone, ancient. The steeple rose 70 feet. Thad approached from the west, moving in darkness. He reached the stone wall around the cemetery at 0500 hours. Dawn was 30 minutes away. He found a position in the cemetery, behind a large grave marker, good cover, clear line to the church entrance, clear line to the steeple windows. He settled in, checked his Springfield, the Kar-98K he'd left behind. This was his rifle, his tool, the one Blackwood had given him. He waited. The sky lightened, grey to pink to gold. At 0530 hours, he saw movement. The church door opened. A figure stepped out. Tall, lean, German uniform, Kar 98K rifle. He moved with confidence. Cock. He walked to the center of the cemetery, 50 yards from Thad's position, stopped, set his rifle against a gravestone, raised his hands. "American," he called in accented English. "I know you are here. I can feel you." Thad said nothing. "I have killed 94 Soviet snipers. Each one thought they could beat me. They were wrong." Coke turned slowly, scanning. "But you are different. British trained, yes? I can tell. The patience, the discipline. You think like we think." He paused. "Your friend, the one I killed on the beach. Flynn, I believe. He died quickly. Clean shot. He did not suffer." Thad's finger found the trigger. "I took no joy in it. He was a soldier. As am I. As are you. We do our duty." Cock spread his arms wider. "So, here we are, hunter and hunter. The only question is, who is better?" Thad rose slowly from behind the grave marker, rifle raised, aimed at Coke's chest. Cock smiled. He didn't reach for his rifle. "Yes," he said softly. "There you are." "Why?" Thad asked. His voice was rough. "Why the game? The notes? The duel?" "Because I am bored. Killing Soviets is easy. They rush, make mistakes. But you made me think, made me plan, made me feel alive again." "And Flynn? Was killing him part of your game?" Coke's smile faded. "Flynn was war. This, between us, this is different. This is art." Thad's finger tightened on the trigger. "Ah," Coke said. "But you hesitate. Why? I am unarmed, exposed. Take your shot." "Where's your spotter?" Thad asked. "Dead. You killed him yesterday." "The fourth man?" "Also dead. You are thorough. So it's just you. Just me." Cock gestured to his rifle. "We could make it fair. I pick up my weapon. We take positions, proper duel." "No," Thad said. "No?" "My commander taught me something. He said sniping isn't about fair. It's about mission success. Bringing our boys home." Thad aimed carefully. Cock nodded slowly. "British wisdom. Your commander is wise." "He is?" "Then do your duty, American. Make it clean." Thad centered the crosshairs on Coke's chest. 50 yards, no wind, clear shot. Easy. Thad fired. Coke fell. The shot echoed across the valley. Birds scattered. Silence. Thad walked forward slowly, rifle ready. Coke lay on his back, blood spreading across his chest, eyes open, still alive. "Good shot," Coke whispered. Thad knelt beside him. "In my pocket," Coke said. "Letter. Read it." Thad hesitated, then reached into Coke's jacket, found a small book. Leather-bound, personal diary. "Last page," Coke said. Breathing labored, Thad opened to the last page. Cock had written in English, shaky handwriting, recent. "If you are reading this, American Mercer has killed me. Good, he earned it. 94 Soviets I killed. They shot fast, thought slow, died easy. But Mercer is different, British trained, thinks like gamekeeper, like me. In another life, we could have been friends, fellow hunters, respecting the craft. But war makes enemies of brothers, Mercer. You are not cowboy, you are hunter. Never forget this. Kill with honor, die with honor." Heinrich Koch. Thad looked up. Koch was dead. Thad sat back on his heels. He should have felt triumph, revenge for Flynn, success in his mission. But all he felt was tired and strangely empty. He closed Koch's eyes, then stood and walked away. Behind him, the sun rose over Normandy. Ahead, the war continued. But Koch's war was over, and Thad had kept his promise to Flynn. Winter came early to the Ardennes. December 16th, 1944. Snow fell in heavy curtains across Belgian forest. Trees were black skeletons against white sky. Temperature hovered below freezing. Thad crouched in a foxhole, watching the tree line. 4 months since Coke. 4 months of fighting across France. The war was supposed to be ending. Everyone said so. Germany was collapsing. Everyone was wrong. At 05:30 hours, the German artillery started. The sound was like the world splitting. Thousands of guns firing simultaneously. The forest erupted. Trees exploded. Snow vaporized. Earth shook. Men screamed. The barrage lasted 2 hours. When it stopped, the Germans came. Panzers, infantry, thousands of them. This wasn't a local counterattack. This was an offensive. Massive, coordinated, desperate. Hitler's last gamble. The Battle of the Bulge had begun. Thad's unit fell back, fighting retreat, using the forest, using the snow, slowing the German advance. But the Germans kept coming. On the third day, Captain Morrison found Thad. "Mercer, we have a problem. German sniper teams, at least 5, targeting our officers. Company commanders, platoon leaders, anyone giving orders." Morrison's face was haggard. 3 days without sleep. "We've lost 11 officers in 2 days. Men are starting to panic. No leadership, no coordination." "Where's Major Blackwood?" "He's organizing a response, gathering your old training group. All 8 of you are still alive somehow. He wants you to lead them." "Lead them to what?" "Counter-sniper operations. Hunt the Germans, kill them before they kill more of our officers." Morrison paused. "We also have visitors, Soviet observers. Again, High Command wants them to see how we handle this." "Volkov?" "Captain Volkov is one of them. He brought a team, 38 Soviet snipers. They want to help." Thad absorbed this. 38 Russian snipers and 8 Americans against how many Germans? Intelligence estimates 40 to 50 German snipers operating in our sector. SS and Wehrmacht. Eastern Front veterans. The numbers were brutal. "Tell Blackwood I'm coming." The meeting took place in a barn. Thad's 7 fellow graduates were there. Faces older, harder, but alive. All alive. Sergeant Marcus Webb, Corporal Eddie Paulson, Private First Class Raymond Cross. 4 others. They had fought together for 4 months. They were brothers. Blackwood stood before them. He looked ancient. The war had carved him down to bone and sinew, but his eyes were still sharp. "Gentlemen, the situation is dire. German snipers are decimating our officer corps. We must stop them." He gestured to the corner. Captain Dmitry Volkov stepped forward. Older, greyer, but still that granite face, still ice-blue eyes. "Captain Volkov has brought a team," Blackwood continued. 38 Soviet snipers, combat experienced. They will operate in coordination with us." Volkov nodded. "We fight together, kill fascists together," Webb spoke up. 38 Russians and 8 Americans, against 50 Germans, bad odds. "Da," Volkov said. "Is bad odds, but is all we have." Blackwood spread a map. "Germans are operating in this sector, 20 square kilometers of forest, using tree cover, moving constantly. We've only identified 3 definite positions," he pointed. "Here, here, and here. Each position covers a key crossroads or observation point." Thad studied the map. "They're boxing us in, creating a kill zone. Any officer who tries to coordinate movement gets shot." "Precisely. So we hunt them. We hunt them." Volkov stepped closer. "Soviet method. We saturate area. 38 snipers spread across sector. Overlap fields of fire. When German shows himself, multiple snipers engage. Volume of fire overwhelms him." Blackwood was quiet. That's one approach. Private Mercer, what's your approach? Thad thought. Remembered training, remembered cock. Quality over quantity. We don't spread out, we concentrate. 8 men working together. Identify German positions one at a time. Eliminate them methodically. Patient, precise. Volkov frowned. 8 men against 50 is suicide. Maybe, but 8 highly trained men working together are worth more than 38 working independently. You think this? I know this. I killed Koch with patience and precision, not volume of fire. Volkov's jaw tightened, but he nodded slowly. Then we test. You work your way, we work our way. 10 days. We see who kills more Germans. It's not a competition, Blackwood said. Everything is competition. Volkov smiled without humor. This is how we learn. Blackwood looked at Thad. Your call. Thad met Volkov's eyes. 10 days. We'll prove it. Day 1. Thad's team moved through forest like ghosts. 8 men. Perfect coordination. They had trained together, fought together, knew each other's movements. Thad led, Webb spotted, others provided security and observation. They found a German position at 1100 hours, sniper nest in a tall pine, excellent elevation, clear view of a crossroads. The German was good, well concealed, motionless. But Thad saw him, saw the unnatural shadow in the branches, slight color variation. 600 yards, Webb whispered. Wind 3 miles per hour, left to right. Temperature 32 degrees. Thad calculated, adjusted his scope, breathed, fired. The German fell from the tree, landed in snow with a soft thump. 1 down, they moved immediately. Standard procedure. Behind them, they heard gunfire. Volkov's team engaging another position. Sustained fire. 20, 30 shots. Then silence. That night, they compared results. Thad's team, 3 confirmed kills, 0 casualties. Volkov's team, 2 confirmed kills, 4 wounded, 1 dead. Volkov's face was stone as he reported. German positions well chosen. When we fire, they triangulate, counterattack. We lose men. Because you're using volume of fire, Thad said gently. 1 shot reveals position. 10 shots guarantees they find you. But 1 shot might miss. Then don't miss, Volkov stared. Is not so simple. It is exactly that simple. We train until missing is impossible. Day 3. Thad's team had killed 7 Germans. Volkov's team had killed 4, but Volkov had lost 6 men, dead or wounded badly enough to evacuate. The Soviet survivors were shaken, jumpy, moved carelessly, fired at shadows. That night, Volkov came to Thad's position. He sat heavily in snow, lit a cigarette with shaking hands. You were right, he said quietly. About what? Quality is better than quantity. Volkov drew on the cigarette, exhaled smoke. I commanded snipers at Stalingrad. We had hundreds, thousands across the city. We saturated German positions, made them afraid. We won through numbers. He paused. But we lost so many good men, brave men. They died because we did not train them properly, because we sent them with 2 weeks' training and a rifle. You did what you had to do, Thad said. Did I? Volkov looked at him. Or did I waste lives because I believed Soviet way was only way? He stood. Your 8 men have killed 7 Germans. My 32 remaining men have killed 4, and I have lost 6. The mathematics is clear. Mathematics doesn't account for everything. No, but it accounts for this. Volkov dropped his cigarette, ground it out. Your doctrine is superior, I admit this. One perfectly trained hunter is worth more than 10 partially trained soldiers. This is truth. He met Thad's eyes. But Russia cannot afford your doctrine. We do not have time for 4-month training. We do not have luxury of selecting one from 100. We must train everyone, send everyone, win through bodies. Even if it costs more lives? Even then. Volkov's voice was heavy. Because if we do not win, everyone dies, not just soldiers. Everyone, women, children, old men, Germans, will kill everyone, Thad understood. So we fight our war, you fight yours. Both kill Germans, both save lives in the end. But your way, he gestured at Thad's team, your way is better. I see this now. Then teach it. After the war, when you go home, teach Russian snipers to be patient, to be precise. Volkov smiled sadly. Maybe I will, if I survive. Day 7. The German counteroffensive was failing. American reinforcements arrived. The lines stabilized. Germans began falling back. But the sniper war continued. Thad's team had killed 24 Germans. Volkov's remaining 28 men had killed 15. Combined, they had broken the German sniper company. Officer casualties stopped. On the 8th day, the Germans withdrew from the sector. On the 9th day, American forces counterattacked. On the 10th day, Thad's team and Volkov's team assembled one final time. Captain Morrison was there. Blackwood, senior officers. Morrison read the final count. American team, 8 men, 0 casualties, 37 confirmed sniper kills over 10 days, average of 4.6 kills per man. He paused. Soviet team, 38 men started, 24 men remaining at mission end, 19 confirmed sniper kills, average of 0.5 kills per man. Morrison looked at both groups. Gentlemen, you saved this division. German sniper threat neutralized. Officer casualties dropped to near 0. Counteroffensives stopped. But the statistics spoke louder. 8 men, 37 kills. 38 men, 19 kills, 14 casualties. Volkov stood, came to attention. I wish to make statement. Morrison nodded. Volkov turned to Thad. American doctrine is superior. British training is superior. One perfect hunter defeats many adequate soldiers. This I see with my own eyes. This I will report to my commanders. He saluted, not to Morrison, to Thad. You proved quality wins. I was wrong. Numbers are not everything. Thad returned the salute. You fought well, Captain. Your men fought well. They fought bravely, but you fought smartly. Volkov lowered his hand. This is difference. Bravery without skill is waste. Skill with bravery. He gestured at Thad's team. This is victory. He turned to leave. Stopped. Looked back. After war, I will remember this. I will teach this. Quality over quantity. Always. Then he walked away. Thad never saw him again. March 7th, 1945. The Rhine River was swollen with spring melt. Grey water churned against stone supports of the Ludendorff Bridge at Remagen. The bridge was critical. Capture it intact, and Allies could pour into Germany, destroy it, and the war would drag on. Germans knew this. Demolition charges were placed. Snipers covered every approach. Artillery zeroed on crossing points. Thad's team was assigned to clear the sniper positions, 8 men, veterans, hardened by 5 months of continuous combat since the Bulge. Blackwood was with them. He had insisted, despite being 50 years old, despite looking 20 years older, despite the tremor in his left hand. One last mission, he had said. Then I go home, back to England, back to my farm. But this bridge, I want to be part of taking this bridge. They positioned themselves on the west bank, 800 yards from the bridge. Good overwatch. Through his scope, Thad counted 5 German sniper positions. This will be difficult, Blackwood said quietly. Spotting for Thad, like old times, like training at Camp Pendleton. We've done difficult before. We have indeed. They waited for the infantry assault. At 1400 hours, American soldiers rushed the bridge. Germans opened fire, machine guns, rifles, artillery, and snipers. Thad saw an American sergeant fall, headshot, 600 yards. He tracked back along bullet trajectory, found the German sniper. 3rd floor window, east side. Wind? Thad asked. 5 miles per hour, quarter value from right, Blackwood replied. Thad adjusted, fired. The German jerked backward, disappeared. Hit, Blackwood confirmed. More Americans fell on the bridge. Thad worked mechanically, spotting, calculating, firing. 1 shot, 1 German, 1 shot, another German. Other team members engaged their own targets. German sniper fire slackened. Americans reached the far side, and then Thad saw it. A German officer, running toward the bridge supports, carrying something, the demolition plunger. He was going to blow the bridge. Target, Thad said. Moving, 800 yards, crossing left to right. I see him, Blackwood said. Thad led the target. Calculated movement. Distance. Started to squeeze. The shot came from behind them, from the opposite direction. A German sniper. They had missed one, hiding in ruins on the west bank. The bullet was meant for Thad, but Blackwood moved, shifted slightly. Putting himself between Thad and the shot, the round hit him in the chest. Blackwood fell. No! Thad spun around, located the German sniper. 200 yards, poorly concealed now. Thad shot him without thinking. Pure muscle memory. The German dropped. Then Thad turned back to Blackwood. The major lay on his back, blood spreading across his tunic. Too much blood. Thad dragged him into cover, applied pressure. But he knew. He knew. Medic! Someone shouted, but Blackwood grabbed Thad's wrist. No, he whispered. No time. Sir, don't... Listen. Blackwood's grip was strong. Listen to me. Thad leaned closer. Hesketh Pritchard taught me. 1916. At Lingham. Everything I know, everything I am. Blackwood coughed, blood on his lips. I taught you, 1944, at Pendleton. Everything he taught me. His eyes found Thad's, still sharp, still clear. Now you teach, 1946 onwards. Teach them what I taught you. Quality over quantity, patience over speed. 1 perfect shot. I will, sir. Promise me. I promise. Blackwood's hand reached into his jacket, pulled out a bundle, small leather notebooks, worn, stained, different from the journal he'd given Thad at graduation. These are different from the journal I gave you, Blackwood said, reading Thad's expression. That journal was for your own records, your own lessons. He pressed the notebooks into Thad's hands. These were Pritchard's, the original notebooks, the ones he wrote in the trenches. Thornton gave them to me. Now I give them to you. The source material, guard them well. Thad took the notebooks with trembling hands. The legacy continues, Blackwood whispered. Quality, always, quality. His eyes closed, his breathing stopped. Major Alistair Blackwood died at 14:27 hours. March 7th, 1945. 50 years old. 43 confirmed kills in the Great War. 61 confirmed kills in this war. Teacher of 8 American snipers. The last gentleman. Thad sat beside the body for a long time. Then he picked up his rifle, aimed at the German officer still running toward the bridge, and fired. The officer fell. The bridge stood. Thad had kept his promise. To Flynn, to Blackwood, make every shot count, bring them home. June 1975. Quantico was hot in summer. Virginia humidity pressed down. Even at 0800 hours, sweat stained every uniform. Colonel Thaddeus Mercer stood in shade of the headquarters building, 51 years old, grey threading through dark hair, lines around his eyes from 30 years of squinting through scopes, but straight-backed, fit, alert, a Marine. The ceremony was scheduled for 1000 hours, promotion to Brigadier General, recognition for 3 decades of service. Most spent training scout snipers. Thad had trained 1,847 snipers since 1946, each one selected from hundreds of volunteers, each one trained for months, each one taught the British way, quality over quantity, patience over speed, one perfect shot. Their combined record was staggering, 28,400 confirmed kills, average of 1.38 shots per kill, the legacy of Hesketh Pritchard, of Blackwood, of British doctrine, alive and thriving in the United States Marine Corps. Colonel Mercer? Thad turned. A young captain stood at attention, early 20s, earnest face. Sir, the Commandant would like to see you, before the ceremony. Lead the way. The Commandant's office was cool. Air conditioning, leather chairs, photographs of Marines throughout history. General Marcus Webb stood behind the desk. Webb, one of Thad's original 7, the farm boy who had become a general. Thad, Webb said warmly, sit. They sat, old friends, brothers. I wanted to give you something before the ceremony. He pulled out a file, opened it. Statistics, your students. Every sniper you've trained since 46, he read aloud. 1,847 graduates. 28,400 confirmed kills. 412 killed in action. That's a survival rate of 77.7%. Webb looked up. 77%, Thad. 77% of your students survived combat. Do you understand how extraordinary that is? I taught them to stay alive, like Blackwood taught me. You taught them to be hunters, not cannon fodder. Webb closed the file. There's something else. Someone here to see you, a visitor, requested specifically. Who? The door opened. An old man entered, 80 years old maybe, stooped, liver spots on his hands, but those eyes, ice blue, pale as winter. Thad stood slowly. Captain Volkov? General Volkov now, the old man said. His English was better. Retired, but yes, I am Volkov. They shook hands. Volkov's grip was still strong. I came to America to visit grandson. He is at University, Georgetown, studying political science. He smiled. And I came to find you, to tell you something. What's that? You were right. Quality defeats quantity. I saw this in Ardennes, saw this in your results. 8 men killing 37 Germans, while 38 of my men killed 19 and lost 14. Volkov sat heavily. After war, I returned to Soviet Union. I trained snipers for 20 years, and I changed everything. No more mass production, no more 2-week courses. I demanded selection, I demanded time, I demanded quality. He met Thad's eyes. Soviet sniper program became best in world. Because I learned from you, from British, from Blackwood's teaching. I'm glad, Thad said. I was wrong at Normandy, wrong to think numbers were everything. You proved this. Your students prove this still. Volkov reached into his jacket, pulled out a photograph. My grandson, Alexei. He wants to stay in America, Defect, yes. He loves this country. Freedom. Opportunity. The photograph showed a young man, 22, 23, dark hair, blue eyes. He asks if maybe someday he could join Marines, learn from you, become sniper. Volkov's voice shook slightly. His grandfather was wrong about many things, but his grandfather learned, and now grandson wants to learn right way, quality way. Thad took the photograph. I'm retiring. This promotion today, then I'm done. 30 years is enough. Volkov's face fell. But, Thad continued, my replacement is Captain Raymond Cross, one of my original students. He'll run the program now, and he'll train your grandson if the boy qualifies. He will qualify. I raised him on your stories. Then tell him to report to selection. Tell him it will be hard. Tell him 95% fail. I will tell him, and I will tell him why it must be hard. Because quality matters more than quantity, always. The ceremony was short. General Webb pinned the star on Thad's shoulder, made a speech about dedication, excellence, legacy. Thad barely heard it. He was thinking about Flynn, about Koch, about Blackwood dying on the banks of the Rhine, about 1,847 young men who had sat in classrooms and listened to him talk about patience, about precision, about making every shot count. After the ceremony, Thad walked to the sniper school. The building was quiet. Classes had ended. He went to his office. Small, Spartan, desk, filing cabinets, window overlooking the range. On his desk sat 2 sets of notebooks. Blackwood's journal, the one given at graduation, now filled with Thad's own 30 years of observations, and Pritchard's original notebooks, the source material, passed from Pritchard to Thornton to Blackwood to Thad. Captain Cross knocked on the doorframe. Sir, everything's ready for your retirement speech. Tomorrow, current class wants to hear from you one last time. How many in the class? 12 out of 947 who tried out. Thad smiled. Good selection rate. I learned from the best. Cross hesitated. Sir, there's a foreign student, exchange program, Soviet defector's grandson, name of Alexei Volkov. I met his grandfather today. He's good, sir, really good. Natural patience. Excellent eye. If he passes selection, he'll be one of the best. Then train him right. Teach him what I taught you. Quality over quantity. Always. Cross saluted, left. Thad sat at his desk, opened Blackwood's journal, his personal one last time, flipped to a blank page near the end, added a final entry in his own handwriting, trained 1,847 Marines in British sniper doctrine, lost 412 in combat, saved 1,435 lives through proper training, combined record, 28,400 confirmed kills, 1.38 shots per kill average, 77.7% survival rate. The legacy continues, Pritchard to Thornton, Thornton to Blackwood, Blackwood to me to Cross. And Cross will teach the next generation. Quality over quantity, one perfect shot. Bring them home, always. Thaddeus Mercer, June 1975. He closed the journal. Tomorrow he would give both sets of notebooks to Cross. Tomorrow the legacy would pass again, forever. The retirement speech was scheduled for 1,000 hours. 12 students sat in the classroom. 12 out of 947. Hard faces, serious eyes. They knew what they were volunteering for. Thad stood before them. 51 years old, 30 years teaching, about to walk away. He held both sets of notebooks, Blackwood's personal journal, Pritchard's originals. I want to tell you about a man named Hesketh Vernon Hesketh Pritchard, he began. The students leaned forward. 1916 Western Front. British soldiers were dying to German snipers, hundreds of them. The British Army had no answer, no training, no doctrine. Thad paused. Pritchard changed that. He created the first sniper school, taught patience, precision, fieldcraft. He saved thousands of lives, created a legacy. He walked to the window. That legacy passed to a man named Alistair Blackwood. He taught me. 1944, Camp Pendleton, 8 of us graduated from his course. Out of 847 volunteers. Thad turned back. Those 8 men killed over 300 Germans in World War II. We all survived, all 8, because Blackwood taught us to think, to be patient, to make every shot count. He held up Pritchard's notebooks. Blackwood died saving my life. Remagen, March 7th, 1945. Before he died, he gave me these. Pritchard's original notebooks, the source material, 30 years of accumulated wisdom. He set them on the desk. This is your inheritance, the British way, the right way, quality over quantity. 1 perfect hunter defeats 100 adequate marksmen. A student raised his hand. Young, maybe 22. Alexei Volkov, ice blue eyes. Sir, my grandfather said the Soviets trained 400,000 snipers. You've trained fewer than 2,000. How can we compete with those numbers? Thad smiled. Your grandfather also said something else. He said he was wrong about numbers. That quality defeats quantity every time. He picked up both sets of notebooks. In World War II, British and American snipers averaged 1.3 shots per kill. Soviet snipers averaged 8 to 10 shots per kill. German snipers averaged 2 to 3. The difference? Training, selection, patience. Thad's voice hardened. You 12 represent the future of American sniper doctrine. You will be the best, not because you're naturally gifted, not because you want it more than the 935 who failed selection, he paused, but because you will be trained properly. You will learn to think like hunters. You will learn that 1 perfect shot is worth more than 100 rushed bullets. And when you graduate, you will go to war and you will save lives. Not just enemy lives you take, but friendly lives you protect. Thad handed both sets of notebooks to Captain Cross. This legacy continues. Pritchard, Thornton, Blackwood, me, now Captain Cross. And after him, one of you. He looked at each student. Make every shot count. Bring your brothers home. Remember quality over quantity. Always. The students came to attention. After the speech, Thad walked to each student, shook hands. When he reached Alexei Volkov, he paused. The young man stood straighter. Your grandfather was a brave man, Thad said quietly. He admitted when he was wrong. That takes more courage than any battle. He told me to learn from the best, sir. That's why I'm here. Then make him proud. Make every shot count. I will, sir. Thad smiled, saw Dmitry Volkov's ice blue eyes in this young man's face. The legacy crossed borders, crossed ideologies, quality over quantity, forever. Outside, the Virginia sun was bright. Thad walked to his car, stopped, reached into his pocket, pulled out a photograph, faded, creased from 30 years of carrying. Flynn's face smiled back at him, young, hopeful, 20 years old forever. I kept my promise, Jimmy, Thad whispered. Brought them home, 1,847 of them, most of them anyway. He looked back at the building. Inside, 12 students were beginning their journey, learning patience, learning precision, learning to think like hunters, learning to survive. Blackwood had saved Thad's life twice, once by training him, once by taking a bullet. Thad had repaid that debt by saving 1,435 others. The math worked, quality over quantity, always. He put Flynn's photograph back in his pocket, got in his car, and drove away. The legacy would continue without him, as it should. As Pritchard intended, as Blackwood taught, as Thad had proven, one perfect shot. Bring them home. Forever.